Good morning, everyone. Today we will learn the basic structure of a computer system. Please do not worry if some words are new. I will use simple English and examples that we use every day. Our key question is, what happens when a user gives a computer a command? For example, when you type a sentence, click a button, or play a video, many parts of the computer work together. By the end of this short lesson, you should be able to name the main parts of a computer system. Explain the roles of the CPU, memory, input and output devices, and distinguish hardware from software. I will ask a few quick questions during the lesson, so please answer with short English phrases. First, let me show you the learning flow. In the warm-up, we will name computer parts that we already know. In the core concept, we will compare hardware and software. Then we will look inside the hardware, the CPU, memory, and input and output devices. Finally, we will do a short checkup. The lesson is not about memorizing many technical words. It is about explaining a process in clear English. Please listen for three important verbs: process, store, and control. We can use these verbs in many computer science explanations. For example, the CPU processes data, memory stores data, and software controls hardware. Now, let us start with the big picture. A computer system has hardware and software. Hardware means the physical devices. You can touch hardware. The CPU, memory, keyboard, mouse, and monitor are examples of hardware. Software means programs and instructions. You cannot touch software in the same way, but software tells the hardware what to do. Operating systems, web browsers, video players, and PowerPoint are examples of software. Here is a simple example. When you open a web browser, the browser software sends instructions. The CPU processes those instructions. Memory temporarily stores the information. The monitor shows the result. So, hardware and software are not separate in real use. They work together as one system. Next, we focus on the CPU. CPU means Central Processing Unit. It is often called the brain of the computer because it controls and processes data. The CPU has three important parts. First, the control unit controls operations inside the CPU. It decides which instruction should happen next. Second, the ALU means Arithmetic Logic Unit. It performs arithmetic operations, such as addition and subtraction, and logic operations, such as true or false comparison. Third, registers hold small amounts of data very quickly inside the CPU. Let us say this together. The CPU processes data and controls the computer. Please repeat after me. Processes data, controls the computer. Good. In a real computer action, input data goes into the computer, the CPU processes it, and then the result goes to output devices or memory. Now let us talk about memory. Memory stores programs and data. However, not all memory is the same. At the top, registers are very fast, but they are very small. Cache memory is also very fast and helps the CPU work efficiently. Main memory is RAM. RAM is used while programs are running. It is fast, but it is temporary. We call it volatile memory. This means the data disappears when the power is off. At the bottom, we have secondary storage, such as SSDs, hard disks, and USB drives. It is slower than RAM, but it has a larger capacity and keeps data even when the power is off. So, we can compare memory with a desk and a bookshelf. RAM is like a desk for current work. SSD or HDD is like a bookshelf for long-term storage. The next part is easy to connect with our daily life. Input devices send data into the computer. For example, a keyboard sends text, a mouse sends movement and clicks, a microphone sends sound, and a camera sends images. Output devices show or play the result. A monitor shows images and text, a printer produces paper output, and speakers or headphones produce sound. Please look at the diagram. Data goes in, the computer processes it, and the result comes out. Now, let us do a mini task. Think about a smartphone. Is the camera an input device or an output device? It is an input device because it sends image data into the phone. Is the screen input or output? Usually, it is output because it shows results, but a touch screen can also work as input. Is the speaker input or output? It is output because it plays sound. Software is the last main component that we will study today. Software gives instructions to hardware. We can divide software into two groups. The first group is system software. System software controls and operates the computer system. The operating system is the most familiar example. Windows, macOS, Linux, Android, and iOS are operating systems. Compilers and utility programs are also system software. The second group is application software. Application software helps users do specific tasks. A web browser helps us search the internet. A video player helps us watch videos. PowerPoint helps us make presentations. Please answer this question in English. Which software do you use most often? You can say, I often use a web browser, or I often use a messenger app. Let us finish by explaining one computer action. Imagine that I type a sentence and press enter. First, the keyboard sends input data into the computer. Second, the CPU processes the data. Third, memory stores data temporarily while the program is running. Finally, the monitor shows the result. This is a simple input, process, storage, and output flow. Now, please complete the exit ticket sentence. A computer system works because blank and blank work together. The answer is hardware and software. Excellent. Today we learned the main components of a computer system, the role of the CPU, the difference between RAM and secondary storage, input and output devices, and two types of software. Thank you for your attention.